Good evening and welcome to this Wednesday, November 11th edition of EastCast. I'm David Drockman with Apurva Dixit to bring you the news of the week. Topping our news today, Spirit Week kicks off this Friday with a dance in the East Gym at 7:30. Admission is $4. Then on Sunday, relays take place at the back of the school. Monday, November 16th, during lunch periods in Cafeteria 1, the Twister contest will take place. The next day, the hula hoop competition will occur with tug of war that evening at 7 o'clock in the main gym. During lunch periods in Cafeteria 1 on Wednesday and Thursday, there will be a milk drinking contest and musical chairs, respectively. Thursday night at 7 in the main gym is the volleyball competition. And on Friday, Color Day will take place, a pep rally is planned, and that evening there will be a TGIF dance. What will make this year's Spirit Week and dance different and hopefully better than last year's? Earlier I talked with Mr. Belchikoff, and here's what he had to say.
Last year, what we did, we took a poll. We actually took a survey of the 9th, 10th, and 11th grade students that were here. And we, on a return of about 65 to 70% of them, we really didn't make that many changes. The biggest change was moving Spirit Week from September to November. The activities are basically the same. They're not that different from what we've done in the past.
What are you going to try to do to ensure that more students, as many students as possible, are going to get involved?
Well, what we did was we canceled like all the FOP party stuff. Okay, so students who are involved with FOP can hopefully get involved with Spirit Week. We've spread it out so that it's all, throughout the entire week. We've had some things at night, activities during the lunch periods. It's difficult for me to say what we've done to instill school spirit and everything else. I would hope that spirit would come within the classes, the spirit of competition, the spirit of getting together and just competing against each other as a class. Hopefully that'll bring them out. We don't know.
Okay. And what about the freshmen? A lot of them feel that because they're so young and that they have such little chance of winning, that a lot of them aren't getting involved. What would you have to say to them?
I don't feel that they should feel that way because the events are not based upon a senior or a junior or a sophomore or a freshman. The events are those that anybody can win at any time, and in fact, in past years, we've had freshman classes that have come in second place. So it's what they want to do with it. Nothing is really based upon the fact that the seniors have an advantage or the juniors have an advantage. Every class has the same chance in every event, and that's the way it's set up so that every class can compete, even a freshman. That's another big reason we moved it from September to November, so the freshmen would feel that they were involved in school and they could get involved in this program.
And why did you move the pep rally to the end of Spirit Week? Was there any reasoning behind that?
Well, the pep rally has always been a big part of Spirit Week, and so therefore when you move Spirit Week, you move the pep rally. And we had somewhat of an evening pep rally at the dance in the fall. At this pep rally, we will honor the fall sports. We'll introduce the seniors and the captains. We're not going to introduce every player. That was another thing that people found that the pep rally was boring from the standpoint of just hearing a bunch of names read. So we're going to read the names of the seniors who have played their last fall season here at East. We're going to introduce the captains, and then we'll have the usual, the last event of Spirit Week.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Mr. Belchikoff. Well, congratulations to Mr. Sipp and the entire East Side staff. They've done it again. In the Garden State Scholastic Press Association contest, East Side was ranked the #1 best overall newspaper in all of New Jersey. Mike Mansour, East Side's news editor, won first place for sports writing. The second place award in sports writing also went to East, this time going to features editor Rick Roseman and to Gil Burko. Brad Feldman won second place in feature writing, and Suma Siem and Karen Auerbach received honorable mention for East Side's layout and design. Congratulations to all of the above. Well, it's time now for our SAT word of the week. It's pachyderm, which means any of certain large, thick-skinned, hoofed animals, such as the elephant, rhinoceros, and hippo. Hence, a thick-skinned, insensitive, stolid person. Just in case you wanted to know. And now here's Apurva.
The blood drive is off to a great start this year. With overall chairpersons Nancy Coucher and Melissa Paul, Publicity chairpersons Eric Salzman, Sue Wright, and Alan Lee, Manpower chairpersons Aubrey Cattell and Meredith Bilowski, and donor chairpersons Reno Sayal and Danny Fine. They're sure to make people bleed. This year, those who donate will have their names printed on one of the blood buddies that are displayed in Cafeteria 1. In order to give blood, one must be at least 17 years of age and weigh 110 pounds. Volunteers will be going to senior and junior homerooms to persuade people into giving. The drive will be held on December 1st, 2nd, and 3rd throughout the day. For the first time ever, anyone will be able to purchase a blood drive t-shirt, red with white print, for only $6. Donor forms are due November 19th. Please give blood. It's for a good cause, and it will keep you from being a pachyderm. Thousands of teachers from across the state descended on Atlantic City last Thursday and Friday for the annual New Jersey Teachers Convention. Although the purpose of the convention is for teachers to see and hear the latest in material and techniques, they also have an opportunity to hear outstanding student musical groups from around the state. This year, our own Bells of East performed at the opening session. The Bells, who are directed by students Debbie Cruz and Courtney Ames and advised by Miss Wilson, one of a few groups in the country that uses bells and voice to complement each other's sounds. The Bells performed the Sabbath song from Fiddler on the Roof, If, One Tin Soldier, and I Believe, to the delight of the crowd, who gave them a standing ovation. In addition, other East students who are members of the 1992 New Jersey All-State Chorus performed last Thursday night in the Convention Hall in Atlantic City at 8 p.m. Of the 350 students from New Jersey who participated, 10 were from East and 8 were seniors. Ann Handa conducted the show. The students arrived on Wednesday evening at the International Hotel and stayed there 3 days and 2 nights. The practices were extremely demanding, and one time practice even went on for 5 hours straight. The students from East met other students from different schools and had fun walking on the beach and meeting at Ocean One. The auditions were held last April, and those who want to participate in it next year must audition during this school year.
On Saturday, November 1st at 9:30 a.m., KYW-TV Channel 3 aired their weekly show Wraparound, in which 3 students from East appeared. Seniors Mike Lustbader, Tricia Relosa, and Lisa Schusterman were asked a number of questions dealing with the issues and candidates of the 1992 elections. Mr. Belchikoff recommended that these 3 students represent our school. Mike, who is the World Affairs president, had much to say. In fact, the staff at Wraparound were so impressed by his performance that they offered him to be on the show permanently. Mike has not yet decided whether or not to accept this honor. Human rights has always been essential to all. Thanks to the student government, the East Library has a new 5-volume set of reference books chronicling the human rights advances and denials of this century. Be sure to stop in the library to see these new books presently on display in the new library showcase next to the library office. On behalf of the students and staff, we thank the student government for making this collection possible. Tabbouleh, hummus with tahini, couscous. New music groups on MTV? Nah, these are some of the food served to the non-Western culture class last Wednesday during a student presentation of Middle Eastern foods. The class not only tasted a wide variety of foods, but also learned Middle Eastern dining etiquette, such as having someone wash your hands before the meal, or that meals are eaten while sitting on cushions or pillows, and that you always try every dish. That's every dish placed before you. Jacob Kruger, Joanne Cassiul, and Melody Lee worked many hours learning about the foods and customs in order to prepare the meal for the class as part of their requirement for the course. This non-Western course is designed to allow students the opportunity to explore cultures that they are unfamiliar with in order to lessen tensions between different cultures.
Attention, class of 1987. Yes, that's class of 1987. It has been 5 years since you've left East, and it's time for a reunion. On Friday, November 27th, members of your class will be gathering at Shooters at the Coliseum. The festivities will begin at 8 and continue until all have had a chance to tell how successful they've been. For more information, call 215-963-1559. Another reunion alumni party for more recent classes is being organized by the PTA for the classes of 1991, 1992, and this year's senior class, the class of 1993. The date is scheduled for Wednesday, November 25th at 7:30 p.m. in Cafeteria 1. With students home from Thanksgiving break, this is an ideal time for the students to get together. This year's senior class will get to speak with old friends and get to find out what college life is really like. Letters will be sent home out to the parents of the alumni, and they will convey the message to the former students. Last year's party was a big success. Let's hope this year's is too. The Fraternal Order of Police Party, better known as FOP, will be held at the Hyatt Hotel on Route 70 on December 21st. The overall chairpersons are Lauren Bell, Joanne Cassiel, and Melissa Paul. The table decoration chairpersons are Christina Bartnikowski, Yvonne Chen, and Julie Chang. The Santa Claus Room chairpersons are Randy Fleischman and Laura Liu, and the ballroom chairpersons are Stacy Crusoe, Rebecca Schlanger, and Adam Goldworm. They are working extremely hard to make the party a success. The choice of entertainment has not yet been decided, but in years before, Eagles cheerleaders, bands, magicians, and cartoon characters have been on hand. The party is for people young and old who are mentally and physically handicapped. Santa Claus is the main attraction, and he arrives by way of helicopter around lunchtime every year. The handicapped are then taken to see Santa Claus, at which point he gives them a present. FOP is a party in which the students of East and West sing and dance with those who are not as fortunate as they are, and everyone who participates come away feeling better about themselves and the world. Here are a few important dates to remember. Sports physicals for boys and girls basketball will be given tomorrow, while physicals for bowling and cheerleading are scheduled for Monday. The wrestlers have their physicals scheduled for Monday, November 23rd. Friday during period 1, the sophomores will have their ring assembly. And next week, Wednesday, and the seniors are scheduled for their group picture in the main gym during homeroom. All members of the class of 1993 should be there.
Well, we actually have some good news to report about the football team. Here's Andrew DeChristopher with that and the rest of this week's sports.
The boys soccer team began their quest for the state title with an impressive week in the Group 4 sectionals of the NJSI AA tournament. In their first round match, the Cougars overpowered Toms River East 5-2. Jason Koenig scored 2 goals, including the game winner shortly before halftime. Goals were also scored by John Brand, Dan Neves, and Adam Shane. In the quarterfinals, the Cougars toppled Eastern 2-1 in a tight defensive game. Jason Koenig scored both goals for East. His second was scored with just minutes remaining in the game to break a 1-1 tie. Earl Walker recorded the win in goal. East will now move on to the Group 4 semifinals against crosstown rival West, who the Cougars defeated 1-0 earlier in the season. This game will be brought to you in its entirety next Wednesday here on Cable 18. The field hockey team also began state tournament play this week. The 12th-ranked team stunned 6th-ranked Washington Township in the Group 4 quarterfinals with a 4-2 triumph. Heather Homan paced East's aggressive offense with 2 goals. Ashley Baker and Danielle Pulliams also scored to secure the upset, while goalie Lisa Derpolbogian recorded the winning goal. The victory sets up a match with highly touted Shawnee in the Group 4 semis. Shawnee has won the Group 4 title each of the last 4 years, but East has vowed to be up to the task. In football, East ended a 4-game losing streak with a 38-18 victory over Overbrook. Senior tailback James Francisconi scored 4 touchdowns, and junior quarterback Ben Steinberg threw for 244 yards and 3 touchdowns to get East offense back on track. Francisconi made 6 catches for 151 yards, including 2 touchdown receptions of 74 and 14 yards. He also ran for 94 yards with TD runs of 5 and 3 yards. The win raised East's record to 3-4 overall, with only 2 games remaining. The team is out of playoff contention, but will be playing for pride in front of their home fans for the upcoming game against Highland and their season finale against West on Thanksgiving Day. Finally, in sports, the East boys gymnastics team finished another successful season recently. The team then sent many of its members to the state individual championships. One of East's gymnasts with an outstanding showing was Bill Scott, who won an award for his performance in the side horse event. EastCast Mike Furman is with Bill right now to talk about his achievements and to reflect on this past season.
Thanks, Andy. I'm here with Bill Scott on the boys gymnastics team. So, Bill, how long have you been competing in gymnastics competitively?
I started gymnastics as a freshman, and I started competing varsity when I was a sophomore, and I'm a junior now.
Was this your first time in the state championships, and what were your thoughts about them?
Yeah, it was the first time I had qualified for state championships, and I was pretty nervous because it was the first time I had been in a meet that was so big.
And what are your strengths and weaknesses as a gymnast?
My main strength is pommel horse because I'm a specialist. I only compete the one event. And my weakness is I hurt my back when I was a freshman. That's why I only do pommel horse. So I guess my weakness would be that I'm injured.
How do you compensate for this weakness?
Well, I try to get as good as I can on pommel horse. So I try to make the most out of what I can do.
What have you done to correct your injury?
I've done a lot of strength training to try to build up muscles in my back and in my stomach to make sure that my back doesn't get any worse than it already is.
How'd the team do this year?
The team was second in South Jersey, and in the team state championships, we placed third.
How'd you do as an individual?
At the individual state championships, I was first place on pommel horse.
Well, congratulations, and thanks for your time, Bill. This has been Mike Furman. Back to the studio now.
That's all for sports this week. Now back to Aporva.
The students, staff, and faculty of Cherry Hill East were saddened by the death of junior John Schnauzer. A member of the bowling team, John was killed in a car accident late Friday night. The entire East community extends its condolences to the Schnauzer family. That's it for the news tonight. Special thanks to Mr. Gordon Hampson, cameraman and editor, Mr. Keith Haynes, advisor, and to Tim Brady and Tracy Denton, our student camera people. Thank you for joining David Drachman and Andrew DeChristopher and me, Aporva Dixit, this evening. Stay tuned for the Halloween parades, which follows the junior high school news. Tonight, we leave you with Ophelia, who offers her paw to give blood. If she can do it, so can you. Good night, Ophelia.
Good evening and welcome to the West Report. I'm Debbie Wickus.
And I'm Adrienne Gum. The big talk at West this week was the announcement of the proposal to merge Cherry Hill East and Cherry Hill West. The Board of Education is faced with the problem of overcrowding in the township schools. Monday night, this topic was discussed at the board meeting. There were 6 solutions proposed, one of which would combine grades 10 through 12 in West with 10 through 12 in East. The plan will be discussed at a meeting scheduled for November 23rd. We were able to get an interview with Stephanie Burstein, a sophomore at West who attended the board meeting and sent petitions around the school against the proposal. We're here with Stephanie Burstein, a sophomore at West who is concerned about the issue of combining the 2 schools. Welcome to the West Report.
Thank you.
Why were you so interested in attending the Board of Education meeting on Monday night?
During Monday, the school day, I collected over 284 signatures against the combining of the 2 schools of East and West that were against it, and they did not want to combine the schools.
Was the topic of combining the schools discussed?
The topic was discussed last night. The main discussion last night was of the K through 6th grades. The 10th through 12th grade was touched upon, but no decision was reached.
Okay. What are your personal opinions?
I don't think that the schools should be combined because extracurricular activities will be overcrowded and the schools will be overcrowded. Everything will just basically be overcrowded and we'll have to get to bus stops earlier in the morning, and it's just not a good idea because East is East and West is West. But by combining the 2 schools, you're making a new school.
Okay, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Now back to the West Report.
Last Sunday, West Marching Band and Color Guard traveled to Egg Harbor Township for a competition. Our band ranked first among the 4 schools participating in the competition with a score of 98.2 points out of a possible 100. Dethroning the number 1 defending champion, the marching band also set an all-time high score for West. West Color Guard was also the champion of the day when it was named the best guard in the competition. Congratulations to the number 1 color guard and marching band. This is a recycling awareness week at Cherry Hill West. The members of the Nature Defense Club use this week to encourage all students and teachers to recycle classroom paper in the paper recycling cans located in each classroom, lunch trays and aluminum cans in the cafeteria, and household batteries in the SGO office. Landfill space is disappearing very quickly, and recycling is a great way to cut down on trash, and it's the law in New Jersey. Nature Defense urges everyone to sort it out before you put it out.
Where can you see the hottest guys in Cherry Hill West strut their stuff? The Mr. West pageant, of course. The contestants are this year seniors Dominic Cosenza, Jeff Eastman, Rob Wagner, Adam Ritter, Jay Kiefer, Eric Shaw, and Drew Rabin. Juniors are John Tisa, Aaron Lazar, Ian Holmes, and Jason Connell. These guys will compete in 5 categories: talent, audience vote, casual, swim, and evening wear. The pageant will take place in the auditorium Friday, November 13th at 7:30. Tickets are $5 at the door. Be sure not to miss this exciting event. And speaking of Mr. West, here's Dave with this week's sports.
In West sports, the football team fell to Eastern last week, 32-13. Mike Fulcher and Kevin Carlton were the scorers for West. Their next game will be against Overbrook on Saturday. The boys soccer team advanced to the semifinals of the State 20 by defeating Toms River North and then shocking Vineland 2-0. Brian Bianco scored his 26th goal of the season in the Vineland contest, and Bill Anuzek added the other goal. Joe Molinaro scored the game winner in the Toms River matchup. That was his 9th of the season. Anthony DeMichael was superb in goal for the 7th-ranked Lions, who will play East in the semifinals this week. And finally, the girls' tennis team ended their season with a loss to East. This concludes a great season for the team. Well, that's all the sports. Now back to the West Report.
Show a friend you really care. Send them a chocolate lion with a spirited message. You can purchase one any lunch period for only 50 cents. The lions with the megaphone message will be given out the day of the pep rally in homeroom. All proceeds go towards the Cherry Hill West cheerleaders. Congratulations to varsity cheerleader Kim McBride. She received the Brooks Irvine Award for Academic Excellence Monday at the Sheraton Post Hotel. Kim was the only cheerleader in South Jersey who was ranked #1 in her school.
This year, the 3-act play is A Midsummer Night's Dream, and the cast and crew are working hard on the production, which is scheduled for December 4th and 5th. New to the program this year is extra entertainment before the play and during intermission. Students will demonstrate their various talents in the style of a traditional Renaissance fair. Theater Workshop will sponsor a trip to Philadelphia's Forest Theater to see a performance of City of Angels. The trip is scheduled for Tuesday evening, November 17th. The cost of a ticket is $40, and the cost may be paid in 2 installments of $20. If you are interested in attending, see Tom Estelo or Mr. Jalora.
Congratulations to Jonathan Rosen and Jessica Franklin, the elected governor and lieutenant governor of the class of 1996. Jessica Franklin stated that, as lieutenant governor, she plans to lead her class in the right direction by fundraising and listening to student suggestions. She said, and I quote, "The position allows me to be an important part of the school, and I hope 1993 will be a great success for freshman government. Good luck to John and Jessica in all their future endeavors to govern the freshman class."
Thank you for watching the West Report. Please join us next week at this time. Good night.
Good night.
and gentlemen, the Lions from Cherry Hill West